Today, I kind of just want to dive into 5 different principles that have changed my life from the moment I heard them and once I implemented them. And I'm not saying that by me telling you these things, like you're going to wake up tomorrow morning, your life's going to be completely different. But the things that I'm going to share could spark that one thing that you needed to hear to literally blast off and go towards what you've been wanting to create all along. As Wayne Dyer says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I think when I read that quote, I literally was like, whoa, that is so true, because our perception absolutely controls our life. You can take any single circumstance. Let's say you think Mondays are super slow and bad and hard days because those days at work are usually when you get the most work loaded onto you, like it's the start of a new week, blah, blah, blah. You probably experience bad Mondays. And there's a reason that you don't like the Mondays, because your perception of Monday is that it's not going to be a good day. And because you believe Mondays aren't going to be a good day, they're not good days for you. But let's just say you were to think, I love Mondays. Mondays are my favorite day of week because this is the beginning to an amazing week. I have no idea where opportunities or blessings are going to come to me this week, so that's why I love Mondays. You'll probably start to enjoy Mondays, and this can be said about any single topic. Literally, think about something, think about the way you view it. Let's see. Me personally, I believe that anyone can be successful. But if you have the perception that only lucky people are successful and you feel unlucky, you'll probably have a much harder time becoming successful. Our perception controls our life. It seriously does. And I believe one of the best ways to shift your perception on things is to catch yourself when you do little negative thoughts. Like, oh, I thought negatively about this. You know what? I'm going to write this down in my notes app, and I'm going to switch that with a positive perception and how I actually want to view it. Because again, your subconscious mind is so powerful that whatever you are feeding it unconsciously, it is going to translate into your conscious everyday behaviors to confirm that belief. So there's 2 words in my book that absolutely do not exist, and it's unrealistic and impossible. If anyone's ever speaking a truth that does not align with you, you quietly say in your head, don't say this out loud because you will make a conversation very awkward. Be like, you know what? That's your truth, but it's not mine. If someone says to me that, oh, you're thinking unrealistically, I say, you know what? That may be your truth, but that's not mine, because I don't believe in the word unrealistic. The only limits that we have are the limits that we place on our own mind. And the same thing can be said about when someone says, oh, that's impossible. That may be true for you, but that's not true for me, because the word impossible doesn't exist in my book. Like, it's so important to watch how you talk to yourself about what you want to create. If you're constantly saying in your head, oh, I can't do it, I just can't do it, there's a reason you're not able to do these things, because you're repeating this affirming belief into your head that you can't do it. So it's literally becoming true that you cannot do it. Switch this to a positive thought of what you actually want to be true. Oh, I can do it. I can do anything that I put my mind to, because you become inevitably what you spend all day thinking about. You know, I literally, sometimes I'll be dozing off and I'm in public places just thinking about my future, just thinking about all the things that I'm gonna create. And I just think, wow, like, these people have no idea. And it's okay to think that way. Don't think that, oh, you're just delusional, like you're thinking so crazy. It's like, there's a reason the most successful people talk about how you create your own reality through your thoughts. What you think about all day is what you will materialize and what will come into your hands. I want you to picture and imagine that everything that you want to create is possible. I literally want every single night before you go to bed, this is something I do, and it honestly gets me pumped up. Like, sometimes it kind of wakes myself up. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even tired anymore. Let me do some things that could lead me down that path. But that's besides the point. Every night before you go to bed, literally just visualize what it is that you want to create. What's the kind of lifestyle you want to have? What do you want your partner to look like? What's your career look like? What do your friends look like? Literally just imagine all of that, because you can create anything. And if there's no limitations besides the ones that we put on ourselves, why would you put any limits? Like, literally, me and my boyfriend last night were in bed thinking, we would love to have a couple friendship who are like us. Like, we would love to meet like a guy and a girl who are very driven people and who have very high goals from themselves. Like, maybe someone who has a podcast, maybe someone who, you know, I'm not even going to say because my boyfriend's working on some things right now, but something that aligns with what he's doing right now. And I literally said to him, I'm like, you know, we can create that, you know, like let's just focus and put our intention on that. And now we're just waiting. It's no longer a matter of if it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And it's okay to be patient and know in your heart that it will absolutely come to you. It's inevitable. What you feed will grow. What you are feeding your mind and your heart will absolutely grow. So if you tell me, Izzy, I have so much anxiety, like I constantly am just like thinking really bad thoughts, I'm constantly anxious, and I say to you, okay, what kind of music do you listen to? And you say, oh, I listen to Suicide Boys and Lil Peep and X. Well, that could be the first red flag. What do you watch on Netflix? Oh, I watch like true crime. I watch like reality TV shows like Love Island. I watch like action thrillers. Well, that's the second red flag right there. Like, if you have a lot of anxiety, take a look at the music that you listen to. Take a look to the TV shows that you're watching. If you're watching negative things and listening to negative things all the time, you are literally growing that negative aspect within you. If you're watching things that are going to make you fearful, you're growing your fear. You are going to be more fearful and more anxious. And I'm not just talking about what you feed yourself visually, auditorily. I'm talking about what you feed yourself with that toxic relationship you might be going back to, that toxic friendship, or maybe just these destructive habits that you have. If you eat McDonald's every single day, I promise you will grow. But you will not grow in a good way. You will grow in a negative way. And the same thing can be said when you're feeding yourself negative things from other people, from watching bad movies, from listening to bad music. Like, if you have a lot of anxiety or depression, take a look at what you are letting yourself feed on every single day. And I'm not just talking about food. If you eat McDonald's every single day, that's, you probably should watch like another video on another topic, because that should be your first like pinpoint of concern and something to change. Besides the point, sorry, I'm rambling. If you're constantly feeding yourself garbage, your spirit will starve. Literally, you will feel so hungry, and no matter how much you feed yourself these toxic habits that you think make you feel good, your cup's still gonna be half empty. Like, you're still gonna be like, I'm missing something. Like, do I need more of this boyfriend? Do I need more of this drug or this alcohol? And that's another thing. That's another topic, or another video topic. But drugs will always leave you feeling empty. I don't care what you say. Oh, it's fun. You sound like you're a ball of fun. Like, you sound like you're so much fun to be around. It's like, yes, I am so much fun to be around because I went through that, and I know that no drug or alcohol is ever going to make me feel as good as I can feel sober-minded. Besides the point, another video as well. I'm also rambling. So I just encourage you to replace old habits with good habits that you know are going to make you grow in a good way. Replace old TV shows and movies and music that is keeping you in this negative cycle and this negative loop. Like, music is so powerful. You guys have no idea. So if you're constantly listening to rap songs talking about, I don't want to curse, but sleeping around with a bunch of people, and you wonder, why is my dating life not going good? I'll tell you exactly why your dating life isn't going good. Think about what you are programming into your subconscious mind over and over again. Be intentional about what you consume, especially at night. If you want to be the best version of yourself, feed yourself with the best foods. And I'm not just talking about physical foods. I'm talking about your spirit foods, because you need to feed your spirit to be the highest version of you. When you start feeding your spirit more than your flesh, you start to think God thoughts. You start to think of a higher nature. My pastor said something in church last week, and it was about, you have a BC, before Christ version of you, and you have an AC version of you, after Christ version of you. I believe that we are all a part of the Christ consciousness, no matter what your spiritual religious beliefs are. I believe that we are all of a higher consciousness. Even if you don't think that's a Christ consciousness, that's okay. But as we continue to grow within whatever higher consciousness you believe in, you will start to crave things that will feed your higher consciousness, that will feed you to be better aligned with that source. I feel like that's the best way I could put it. I used to crave partying, drinking, and drugs, and now that I'm aligned with the higher consciousness and I really feel like I've tapped into that spiritual aspect of me, I no longer crave these bad things. But if you find yourself constantly craving these things, I think it's good to take a step back and be like, why does my flesh crave such bad things from me? Because I know these things aren't feeding my spirit at all. So why do I crave it? I think it's something really important to look at. Take the small little steps, cut out that toxic relationship, cut out that toxic food, cut out that toxic music and movies, and be better 1% every single day. Because when you take a look back at all the things that were no longer feeding your spirit, you'll be like, wow, I'm so happy that I stopped feeding my flesh and I fed my spirit, because that's really what the important part is. Sorry if the angle changed or if I just interrupted my sentence. I have to look back at the footage and see where I'm inserting this, but yeah, my SD card ran out of storage, so here we are with a new one. Trust the process and trust the pain that you are going through. If you are in a painful part in your life right now, I just want you to remind yourself that, first of all, this pain isn't going to last forever, and second of all, this pain is what's going to bridge you over into your purpose. I promise, anytime you go through something very difficult, if you look at it the right way, you'll be able to find that silver lining, that point where it's just like, you know what, this is ultimately creating and growing me into the person that God has intended me to be. Trust the journey. You know, this pain that you're feeling is ultimately the preparation, and it's molding you and creating you into who you are truly meant to be. I think when we go through something super painful, we meet the other version of ourselves, and meeting that other version of yourself is essential when you are stepping into your higher calling and your higher purpose, because you're not going to be able to step into your calling without waking up to it. And sometimes you go through something super difficult to wake up to that calling. If you are in a dark place in your life right now, first of all, my inbox is always open on TikTok or Instagram, and I even have my email and my link tree. You can always reach out to me. I know sometimes all we really need is just another person to talk to when we go through something super difficult. And if you feel you don't have that, you can always reach out to me, and you can always reach out to God. God's a text away. He's a phone call away. Like, he's always with you. God's within all of us. And just know that ultimately the person who's actually going to help you get through anything is going to be God. Turn your attention inwards and onto him, and onto that divine presence. You know, I can't really say him because God isn't a he or a she. It's a presence, you know, it's love and light, and something that's guiding all of us. And just turn your attention onto that and really just cultivate a relationship with the divine, and you will see your life change. You know, when I was going through that grief, the only option for me was to turn my attention onto God, because no one could get rid of that pain that I was having, especially not me. And, you know, I was just on my hands and my knees saying, God, I give it to you. I literally give my life to you. Like, please take the reins right now and just like guide me into what I need to be guided into. You know, like, please just help me with what I'm going through right now. And he did help me. And, you know, around that time when everything was happening, I really was super deep in the grief. I ended up meeting my person, my partner now. And I know that God divinely orchestrated that, because that really helped me. And, you know, yeah. Besides the point, my story is for another video, because this video is just focused on helping you guys. So, yeah. Let's jump into the next topic. So the next thing I want to talk to is really just developing a state of faith and gratitude. I believe that faith is a state of mind, and that state of mind can be achieved by anyone. It doesn't matter, again, your past, your worries of the future, your present circumstances. Having faith is a mindset, and you can match that mindset. And also, being grateful for everything that you have in your life will shift everything in your life, because my belief is that when we are super grateful to God and to the universe for everything that we have, it's just going to match us with that energy state that we're operating in, and it's going to be giving us more to be grateful for. If God is handing us X, Y, and Z, and we take a look at this and we're like, I don't want this, like, next, like, I'm not even grateful, like, oh, this is all due to my own willpower. Like, why is God gonna keep sending you these blessings and these opportunities, because you can't even take a second to be grateful for everything you have? And, you know, I don't know where you are right now in your life and how bad things might be in your life right now, if you're going through a hard time, but if you have like a device to be watching this, you know, you have a roof over your head, you have a comfy bed to sleep in, you have a family, you have food to eat every single day. There's quite a few things that I could list on my fingers right now that you should be grateful for. I know that we go through hard things, and sometimes it's hard to be like, oh wow, I'm just so grateful, because it's okay to have painful moments, and it's okay to not be grateful for the circumstance you're in. But it's about finding things that you can be grateful in, even in those dark times in your life. I truly believe that everything is divinely orchestrated, and now that I operate from that kind of mindset. Anything that happens to me, I don't take it as good or bad. I just view it as is. Even if something negative kind of happens or is thrown my way, I'm like, you know what? That was, first of all, that was me like avoiding it. And that's also me being like, you know what? Like, yes, this was sent my way. I can either like dwell in whatever painful thing or bad situation was sent my way, or I can just view it as just is. Like that, you know, that happened. There's nothing I can do about it. And I'm going to keep rolling with it. I'm going to keep going on and keep chasing after what it is that I want to chase after. You know, sometimes when we think that we really want something, we really want this job opportunity, we want this girlfriend or this friendship, and you don't get it, you can be super upset and you'd be like, God, what? Like, I've been praying for this. Why didn't you deliver it to me? And something I think super important to realize is that sometimes God's going to block you of the lesser opportunity, because if you were to get this lesser opportunity, that big opportunity, a thing that you actually wanted, would have not been there anymore. So it's not like God's trying to punish you. He's trying to protect you from accepting something that is of lesser value than what is truly meant for you. I said in one of my last videos that if you're not happy with the things that you're receiving, I think it's good to look at what are you really asking for, and should you be asking for more? And what I mean by this is, you know, if you keep hitting these little walls here and there on just like small little things, I think it's good to be like, okay, what is it that I'm really asking for? Because clearly these things aren't meant for me. That's why they're being blocked. So am I asking for things that are of lower nature of what God really has intended for me? Because God wants you to be up here. But if you're aiming for things that are down here, guess what? You're going to be blocked, because God's like, what are you doing? Like, your calling and your purpose is up here. Why are you flirting with things that are down here and not good for you? Like, of course it's being blocked. When we're aligned with our true calling and our true purpose, you will see things truly and just mind-blowingly line up for you. And it's not only going to be what you want, but it's going to be what you need. It's going to be what your soul needs, not what your flesh needs. And the same thing could be said for the opposing side of it. You know, when we work with the opposing team, we may get temporary wins, but we're going to end up feeling empty. And what I mean by the opposing team is letting your life be run by sin, letting your life be run by things that are not really aligned with who you are. If you're constantly partying and drinking and doing drugs, like, yeah, like it may be a win for the night, but you're going to wake up feeling so empty. When you're working with that other side and things of a negative nature, you're never going to be fully aligned, and you're never going to end up where you are meant to be, where God wants you to be. Sometimes what we think is a failure is simply God just being like, you know what? I have something big for you. Trust me. Trust in the fact that all the universe wants for you is to see you grow and expand and be the best version of yourself. And if you're, again, reaching for something down here, of course it's going to be swatted away, and you can't be mad, because God's redirection sometimes is protection. I think something that would be good is to reflect on how past failures were actually blocking you from getting something that was a lesser opportunity. You know, there's jobs. Oh, the perfect example actually is, I thought I wanted to go to University of Florida so bad. I literally was like, God, please, 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 I want to go to UF so bad. Like, I want to be a sorority girl, like all this stuff. And when I didn't get into UF, I remember my whole world, my senior version of me's world just collapsed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not smart enough to get into UF. Like, what am I gonna do? And now I look back and I'm literally like, oh my goodness, thank goodness I did not go to the University of Florida, because I would probably not be sitting here in my car right now delivering this message to you. And yeah, that's a perfect example for me. And I encourage you to think of something that you thought you really wanted, and when you didn't get it, you were like, oh my goodness, thank God I did not get that, because that really was not meant for me. What was that noise? I have no idea what that was. Let go of what doesn't serve you so you can make room for things that God has in store for you. The next thing that I want to dive into is that embrace new beginnings. Chapters in your life are always going to come to an end, but when a chapter in your life comes to an end, instead of being like, oh no, I need to hold on to this, this is what I'm familiar with and this is what I'm used to, I need to hold on to it. Literally let it go and accept that this is a new chapter, and you have no idea what's about to roll around the corner. You have no idea what friend group's about to come into your life. You have no idea what relationship, no idea what job's going to come on to you. But if you aren't able to let go onto what is of the past, you're not going to be able to openly accept things that are meant for you in the future. New beginnings require change, and sometimes change can feel a little uncomfortable, but get used to that feeling of discomfort, because that discomfort is a good sign. It's showing that you've never been this version of yourself. You've never been in this place of your life before, and new beginnings are flowing onto you. You have no idea what's right around the corner. God is always working for your highest good, and I think that is such an important mindset to have. When you go through life thinking life is just really hard, life is meant to teach me a bunch of lessons, like I'm going to face a lot of hardships, God doesn't really love me, I'm kind of just floating around here on the earth for no reason, you probably are adapting that mindset so hard that you think it's true, and you are aimlessly just floating through life because you think you're just like a little tiny cell just like floating through the universe. Like, everything is intentional. God has crafted you specifically and with intention, and never forget that. Everyone has a higher calling, but it's about you awakening to that. It's about you taking the time to turn your attention inwards and sit in meditation and really reflect on the life that you want to create. Thinking about how your past experiences have ultimately shaped you into the person that you are today, and think about anytime something hard gets sent your way, think, you know what, how is this further molding me and pushing me into my purpose and who I'm truly meant to be? So these 5 principles: shifting your paradigm, feeding your spirit, finding purpose through your pain, trusting in God's timing, and embracing new beginnings, are all principles that you can use to absolutely transform and change your life. These are like the foundation building blocks. Of course, there's so much more that goes into it. I encourage you to keep up with my channel, because the whole point of my channel is to help you, and to help you achieve a sense of mental freedom and to ultimately create your own reality. The name of my channel is Creality, because I truly believe everyone has the power within them to create their own reality. When you start applying these truths into your life, you'll notice you don't think the same way, you don't talk the same way, you don't look the same way. Like, people tell me you have that Jesus glow, and I seriously, ever since I really have embodied like who I'm truly meant to be, and I've gotten rid of all these negative influences in my life and just really try to cut out all negativity, I feel like I'm glowing from the inside out. I don't need to like pat my makeup with as much. I don't need to pat my face with I don't need to pat my face with so much makeup anymore, because I just feel like I'm glowing from the inside out. Like, you can see it within me, I feel like. Can you? Gossiping won't feel as good to you. Like, doing drugs or drinking won't feel as good to you. Going back to that toxic relationship won't feel as good to you. Doing things that don't truly align with who you are will no longer feel as good to you. But it's about you taking the first steps into becoming that person that you are truly meant to be. Every moment is an opportunity to change your life for the better. And the last wrapping question that I have for you is, are you ready to take that first step? Because you can do it. You can. I have full faith, and I fully believe in you 100,000,000,000%. Even if you have people in your life that don't believe in you, I could be a complete stranger to you, but I want to let you know that I do believe in you. So with that, God bless you guys all. Never forget that you create your own reality. And as I said early in the video, if you are struggling or going through a hard time right now, you can always message me and I will answer. So God bless you guys. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and bye. I'll see you next time.